You're in the C-Space studio. I'm James Kotecki here with Alex Underwood. He's the head of global agency partnerships at Spotify. Alex, welcome to CES.
Thank you.
Welcome to
Good
C-Space. How's the streaming business these days?
Streaming business is good. Where Spotify's here really to help grow the music industry. We're here for the artists, the fans, the creators, and I guess the two growth areas in the industry at the moment are LPs, but also streaming. And I think it was Goldman Sachs actually recently projected that streaming revenue will reach 14 billion by 2030. And so it's really starting to reach a critical mass. And it's for this reason that we actually launched a research white paper this week called The Streaming State of Mind, co-authored with Group M. It's actually looking to pair our first-party data of 100 million plus users with Group M's live panel, which is essentially a 30-market consumer resource panel powered by a database of 5.5 million users. And really what we wanted to do here, the objectives for us here, was to actually almost quantify some of the trends that we're starting to see amongst the global streaming population. And at the same time, start to level set on what this means for the industry and what are some of the behaviors we're seeing across this new segment as well.
So give me some of the top line findings from this report here.
Well, we found that it is actually starting to reach critical mass. We found that half of global internet users are now streaming at least once a week, and over half of those are streaming more rapidly than they were last year. But for me, personally, I think what was perhaps most interesting and really an emerging trend is that 60% of music streamers are actually streaming on mobile now. And I think that represents enormous opportunities for engagement with users. It's actually developing more what we call mobile moments. And I think that's really how digital technologies are starting to shape and evolve content consumption, away almost from the traditional modes of listening. I think radio is very much based on activities or appointment to listen, like morning and evening drive time. But now digital technology is really enabling to reach more spaces and places and really become a companion to your daily life. And in the study we saw that it's like 30% of people are streaming while showering, 20% while they're running errands, 40% while they're working out. And all of this offers enormous opportunities in my world for marketers and advertising, in that they can get richer, deeper contextual data about who people are, what they're feeling, what they're doing. It really helps us to understand the people behind the devices. And in turn, that really helps artists, brands and marketeers start to develop more meaningful content that's not intrusive, that's actually not distracting, but it's actually relevant and contextually relevant.
So I assume from a marketer's perspective, you would not want to do something like you somehow know that someone's taking a shower and the ad says, hey, are you taking a shower? Would you like to try some new shampoo? I mean, is it that blunt kind of force of an advertising?
I think we could be a little bit more creative with that. I think it's definitely, if the audible communication is actually relevant in a contextual way to what you're doing, I think that relevance is actually going to help drive engagement and become less distracting to the user as well. That's our ambition. We want to create, with our brand partners, we want to create deeper, more personal, compelling experiences, which can be in the forms of audible communications, it can be experiential, it can be sponsorships. We want to find the right vehicle as long as it's in the right contextual way.
And is that kind of the way that you think about yourselves as a business? Because I mean, I find with tech companies, there's sometimes there's what consumers think of the business. I think of Spotify as a music streaming company, but maybe you would describe it as an audio experience platform. Like, is there some deeper level on which you think about the business and what you're building, and especially what it's going to grow into over the next few years?
If you're getting into culture, actually, a lot of people ask me about the Spotify culture in a way, and I think you talk loosely about innovation, which I think can be an overused word in the industry sometimes, but the way we think about innovation within our business, innovation is only as good as the mix of people, ideas, thoughts and perspectives that we bring to the table. And I really truly subscribe to that. I believe that diversity is core to our culture, and innovation and really, I guess, creativity as well, is really the product of diverse ideas. And that's really where we're heading as a business as well.
And music itself is almost so inspirational to people. I mean, it's almost like, from a marketing perspective, I imagine you're kind of like building a platform for your users to be more innovative and more creative because they're able to have those kind of audio experiences in the moments where they want them.
Yeah, absolutely. The big thing for us, I go back to, I think the really great quote I saw recently was the late, great David Bowie quite prophetically said that back in 2002 this was, music will become like running water or electricity. And really our strategy is we want to enable consumers to access music and audio throughout as many spaces and places throughout their lives. We want to make audio pervasive and make it a companion to their daily lives as well.
So from the business perspective, when you see out into the future of what those devices, those mobile devices actually look like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you're thinking about forecasting how that phone in my pocket is going to change into something else potentially in the future, or it's going to migrate into other types of devices that I'm using at different points in my day. How do you think about devices from a business perspective?
It's huge for us. I think at the moment Spotify's on over 300 devices today. And if you looked at, I think Gartner projecting there will be over 21 billion connected devices by 2020. And if you think about that for a minute, a lot of those technologies and formats, the screen's not necessarily going to be the primary format for engagement, whereas audio can integrate into all those experiences.
Right.
And the big thing there for us, more convenience means more moments, more engagement. We want to ensure that people can access Spotify on the right devices with relevant content. I think the opportunities are enormous. You think about even today with a recent partnership with Google Home, almost the default music player with Google Home. So you can say now, okay Google, play my Discover Weekly playlist, or play Rap Caviar. And you go to the connected cars, where obviously audio is a very pervasive traditional format there, that you can actually ask your car to map out your route. And if I think about the opportunities for brands and marketers, the opportunities are infinite. There's no reason to say you're a QSR advertiser in the future and you're driving. If you're a QSR advertiser, you could actually deliver relevant communication to that person in the right contextual moment and enable them to either, share a piece of communication, download a voucher. There's no reason why you couldn't even order your meal and pay for it before you've even got to the restaurant, purely by voice within your car, within your vehicle.
You mentioned cars. Obviously, we're at CES. Everyone's talking about self-driving cars. I assume a lot of streaming happens when people are in commuting situations in cars. What happens to a world when I don't have to be at the driver's seat anymore? And I can be, on Netflix, or I can be on checking email or doing other things I'm in my car other than listening. Is that a business concern for you as autonomous vehicles come out?
Not a business concern for us right now. I think the bigger opportunity for us is just thinking about, that's one mode of one mode of technology you're talking about there. We're talking about 21 billion connected devices by 2020. There's huge opportunity just in the connected homes as well, connected devices, connected speakers. I'm really bullish actually on the connected homes, and even just from anecdotal feedback I've got from brands and marketeers this week, they're actually showing that because almost voice response through Alexa and Google Home is actually removing some of the friction associated with audio consumption. You haven't got to program your consumption. You can just ask them to play music, ask them to play your playlist, almost soundtrack your day in the future. And I mean, that's going to grow listening infinitely moving forward, and that's why I'm really bullish with regards to that.
My dad got one of those devices for Christmas, and it absolutely was that. We were all sitting around the table just shouting different things for it to play, different Christmas songs we wanted to play.
I spoke to somebody yesterday on the panel that has got a Google Home in their bathroom, and while they're showering, they're actually talking to Alexa about their calendar for the day ahead. And there's no reason why you're doing that. You could start building your Spotify playlist or soundtrack for the day ahead through your commutes, or through while you're at work, or while you're focused, or while you're doing your workout.
Need to be hyped for the big meeting, Spotify. Let's find some hype tracks for my
Depending on the meeting, absolutely.
Exactly. one more thing, you mentioned LPs at the very top of this interview as the other growth area in music, which is fascinating because you got the most futuristic form, which is streaming and Spotify, and then you've got the classic LPs. How does Spotify, how do you think about LPs as a business?
I think it's great. As I said at the top, we want to help grow the music industry for artists, creators, and fans and labels alike. I guess one way I look at it also is that there's no reason why the two can't coexist together. And I think for certain people, you could use LPs and streaming or Spotify for different reasons and in different contexts. Do you think some people might want to discover new music through Spotify, while they'll go to LPs to listen to their old favourites or for nostalgia? And if you think about context, you probably want to listen to LPs on your record player in your bedroom or your home or your lounge, whereas obviously with Spotify and streaming enables you to access your music and your playlist whilst you're on the move or while you're working out or you're commuting. Right. That's why I said at the top of the hour, these mobile moments that streaming can allow just helps your music, which is primarily an intimate medium, become a real companion to your everyday life versus more of an activity-based form of communication, like listening to LPs in the evening in your bedroom at home.
Okay, lightning round, 15-second answer. What are you most excited about for the year 2017?
I'm most excited about our power of audio study for the things we've talked about this year. I really think we are entering a golden age of audio, and I'm thrilled to continue that conversation with our most important brands and agency partners in 2017.
Well, we'll keep listening and we'll stay tuned. Alex Underwood from Spotify. Thanks for joining us in the C-Space studio. I'm James Kotecki. Keep locked right here for more great C-Space studio content.